Good morning. So today, a very interesting story has come out that at first glance seems trivial. What we bring back in our suitcases from a trip to France or Spain, a wedge of brie, a coil of meat, a sausage. In fact, this cuts to the heart of Britain's post-Brexit identity, its border policy, and the challenge of managing agricultural disease in an age of hypermobility. We're discussing this new ban on the personal import of meat and dairy products from the European Union to the United Kingdom. As of this Easter, British travellers returning from the EU are no longer allowed to bring meat or dairy products for personal use. This includes iconic holiday treats, French camembert, German sausages, even a slab of butter. The UK government has framed this as a biosecurity measure aimed at preventing the spread of foot and mouth disease, which has recently resurfaced in parts of Germany, Hungary and Slovakia, and the rules are sweeping, immediate, indefinite. Border Force officers will seize and destroy undeclared items, and individuals could face fines of up to £5,000. On the surface, this is a technical response to a veterinary threat, but it has larger symbolic and practical implications, especially for a nation that has only recently redefined its relationship with its nearest neighbours. Let's take the government at its word. Foot and mouth disease is no joke. It's highly contagious. It's a viral disease that affects cattle, pig, sheep and goats. While it poses no danger to humans, the economic damage is vast. The 2001 outbreak in the UK led to the culling of over 6 million animals and cost the economy an estimated £8 billion. The farming minister, Daniel Zeichner, has emphasised the importance of doing whatever it takes to protect Britain's food security. In this case, it's not about cheese, it's about risk management. Yet critics argue that the policy is disproportionate. The Liberal MP, Caroline Voaden, has called it a blunt move, questioning why no veterinary agreement with the EU has actually been pursued, something that could establish mutual standards and build resilience without resorting to outright bans. Of course, the border is an issue central to Brexit. And since leaving the EU single market and the customs union, the UK has faced a cascade of new regulatory hurdles, from plant passports to pet passports, from roaming charges to wine limits. The friction is mounting. The ban on personal imports is simply the latest of these. It follows restrictions on alcohol allowances, the demise of the booze cruise, and mirrors similar rules already faced by EU citizens entering the UK. But here's the rub. There's no reciprocal veterinary agreement in place between the UK and the EU. And while commercial imports of meat and dairy are tightly controlled and require paperwork, tourists are now caught in a net designed for far larger biosecurity threats. The government insists this is not about Brexit, but about disease control. Yet the fact remains, when the UK was inside the EU, such restrictions did not and could not apply. One could, without irony or arrest, bring back a leg of ham from Lyon or a sliver of Roquefort from Toulouse. What is lost here is not just convenience, it's a certain culinary intimacy between Britain and the continent, and the gifts that we bring back from holiday are not merely souvenirs, they are edible tokens of shared experience, of cultural closeness, of soft diplomacy. To ban them outright is to sever a small but symbolic tie at precisely the moment when many are seeking to rebuild trust with Europe. Indeed, one must ask, would a bilateral veterinary agreement not achieve greater security and far less resentment? Instead, we've created a climate in which passengers are treated as potential smugglers and ordinary items are subject to seizure and incineration. It's difficult not to see this as a bureaucratic form of overreach in the guise of national protection. The new import restrictions may be rooted in legitimate veterinary fears, but they are being enforced in a way that is blunt, politicised, and to many disproportionate. Britain can and must do better than this. A veterinary agreement with the EU would not only protect our livestock, but would restore a measure of ease, dignity and normality to cross-border life. For now, it seems, even cheese has become political.